Morant with a running start. Elevate! Oh, it dunks! Oh, my goodness!
Tie game in overtime. Gasol will turn. His heat is gone! Memphis on top. 7-10 remaining. Conley now with three. Count it! A 15-point lead for Memphis. And Blake Griffin gets into it on the floor with Randolph. Hard to tell if there are any punches being thrown under there, but Griffin took acceptance.
Adams going long. Morant! He hit it! John Morant! Insanity!
You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to Grits and Grinds, a Memphis Grizzlies podcast. My name is Keith Parrish. The Grizzlies lost to the Boston Celtics on national TV. They fell to 0-2 under new interim coach Tuomas Iisalo. They could not get the result they needed against one of the best teams in the NBA, against the best road team in the NBA, and now sit precariously close to the play-in ahead of tonight's showdown with the Warriors. By the way, for tonight's game on Tuesday, April 1st, against the Warriors, a mammoth, crucial basketball game for the Memphis Grizzlies, I'll be hosting a watch party at Noble's Beer Hall in East Nashville. We're going to have $1 off Tiny Bombs from Wiseacre. I'm going to be giving away lots of Grizzlies prizes to the fans that are there. So come hang out at Noble's Beer Hall tonight, Tuesday, April 1st, 7 p.m. for Grizzlies Warriors. Highlighting the importance of this game. The Warriors right now are a half game behind the Grizzlies in the standings. If the Grizzlies lose to the Warriors on Tuesday night, they're in 6th place, and they're tied in the loss column with the Clippers and the Timberwolves, although the Timberwolves play the Nuggets on Tuesday night. So maybe the Nuggets will help the Grizzlies out by beating the Timberwolves. But if you lose to the Warriors, you're basically tied in the loss column with being in the play-in. And that, again, opens up this catastrophic possible end to the season. You could even end up in 8th. I mean, frankly, finishing 8th in the regular season in the Western Conference is very much in reach right now. That would mean the Grizzlies go on the road for the play-in to play the 7 seed. And then if you lose that game, you come back home to host the winner of the 9-10 game. It looked like the Grizzlies were absolute locks for the top 6 just weeks ago. The slide post-trade deadline, post-All-Star break, whatever you want to say, the slide continues. Right now, the Grizzlies have lost 7 out of their last 9 games. They're 9-15 since the trade deadline. On the broadcast, they were talking about how the defensive slippage has been occurring for the Grizzlies. And Pete Pranica, our guy doing the national game on TV, was pointing out, since the All-Star break, they've fallen to, can't remember what it was, like 20th in defensive rating. Again, you can go back 45 games, not talking about the All-Star break, not talking about the trade deadline. You can go back to before Christmas. In the last 45 games, the Grizzlies are 21st in defensive rating. And now, because of this slide, last week, Zach Kleiman shocked most of the NBA world and even surprised us Grizzlies podcasters by dismissing Taylor Jenkins with 9 games to go in the regular season. And, I mean, it's a risky move. It continues to be a risky move. Not only is the team in a slump and you get rid of a proven NBA coach, and again, maybe they thought this was the thing they had to do and they were absolutely going to do it, and so you wanted to go ahead and make the change. But you're turning this over to a rookie head coach. I know he has plenty of experience in Europe, but you're talking about a rookie NBA coach taking over year 6 of Ja Morant, taking over a team that's deep into their competitive run. And you're really going to start the coaching clock over in the offseason with a guy who doesn't have NBA experience, it's all risky. It's all very risky. And right now, there's not a lot of positive things going on. I mean, you can point to hanging with the Celtics as a positive. They got off to a good start as opposed to the Lakers game where they got off to an awful start. But the Grizzlies got shut down by the Celtics defense in the second half. They only managed 18 points in the fourth quarter. They had 24 points in the third quarter, so a 42-point second half. The Celtics outscored them 51-32 over the final 21 and a half minutes of the game. The Grizzlies started the second half with a 10-0 run. Had a nice athletic Ja Morant layup. Jaren hit a three. Jalen Wells hit a three. That puts you up by 5. You were up by 5 with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. For the rest of the game, you made 2 out of 19 three-pointers. The Celtics outscored you 51-32 to close the game. You finished up with 103 points as a team. That's tied for the second fewest points the Grizzlies have scored in a game this year. Over those final 21 minutes, Ja Morant was 2 for 9 from the field. Jaren Jackson was 2 for 7 from the field. Desmond Bane was 1 for 3 from the field. I mean, you held the Celtics to 117 points. That's pretty good for us Grizzlies. But the Celtics made double-digit more three-pointers than the Grizzlies. They took 62. The Grizzlies shot a woeful 25% from the three-point line. Also, if you watch the second half, so many of the three-point attempts were on possessions where the Grizzlies never even ventured inside the three-point line. Not even mentioning the paint. Like, they didn't touch the paint, but like many times they didn't even go inside the three-point line. So the Grizzlies are searching for answers. And you got relatively strong performances from a lot of your main guys. Ja Morant was scintillating in the first half. Ja Morant made, I think, his first 6 field goal attempts. He banked in a three-pointer from the corner. That put the Grizzlies up 11 in the first half. But in the second half, Ja only had 7 points on 11 field goal attempts. That's after a 19-point first half where he was great. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a career high in rebounds. 15 rebounds, all on the defensive end, most of them uncontested. I mean, rebounding numbers can be very deceiving. Because of everyone launching three-pointers, there were over 100 three-pointers taken in this game, there were a lot of uncontested long rebounds. 15 of them went to Jaren, who set a new career high in rebounding. But he had 20 points also, so a nice, strong, beefy double-double from Jaren Jackson Jr. with 20 points and 15 rebounds. Desmond Bane did not have the best game. He only scored 12 points, made 5 out of 11 of his field goal attempts, 1 out of 5 from the three-point line. And again, the first quarter, the Grizzlies had the lead, although they got off to a rough start, or Zach Edey got off to a rough start. He fouled our old friend Xavier Tillman twice in the first 2 minutes. He also missed a layup where Derek White was on his back, so he subs out. Who comes in? That's right, Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley got the opportunity in this game. They decided he was going to be part of the rotation. I'm totally fine with this. I mean, I literally said a few episodes ago, why aren't you playing Marvin Bagley? You have no other bigs. Like, you might as well play him. So they did. They decided to see what Marvin Bagley could do. He was the first sub in because they needed a big. Then, by the way, in the second half, when Zach Edey picked up his 4th foul, who comes in? Jay Huff. That's right. We're just trying out guys again. So 11 players played through the first 3 quarters. Zach Edey did not foul out of the basketball game, much like Jaren Jackson Jr. in the game before. Kudos to our friend Chris Harrington for asking in the post-game press conference, hey, so you take out your bigs with foul trouble in each of the last 2 games, so they each play very limited minutes in the first half. Neither one fouls out. Neither one even ends up with 5 fouls. How do you feel about, your handling of the foul trouble? And I did not love how Tuomas Iisalo seemed maybe like he hadn't even considered the fact that he didn't have to take his players out. I mean, I guess I like the honest reflection where he's like, it's the convention to take your players out. Perhaps that's something we will reassess. Okay. I don't personally love that the head coach of my NBA team, it seemed like hadn't even occurred to him that he could leave a player in, especially a player like Zach Edey, who you don't even normally close with. You couldn't leave him in with multiple fouls early on. I don't know. But anyways, Edey only finishes with 13 minutes of playing time, has 4 points and 2 rebounds. So for those of you who thought maybe Iisalo would unlock Zach Edey, that first game that Edey had against the Lakers, this is how Taylor Jenkins had been holding Edey back. I think that was just, a good game from Edey. He's had several good games this year. The Lakers game was good. The Celtics game, not as good. Looked like a rookie and wasn't the effective big center that the Grizzlies needed to get the win, to get a win over a good team. Again, I don't think it's been since February 2nd, I think, since the Grizzlies have beaten a team with a winning record. And now, again, Tuesday night, you're playing a Warriors team that's been tremendous since trading for Jimmy Butler. They've been one of the best teams in the NBA since trading for Jimmy Butler. The other question that we're going to find out the answer to several hours from now, as I record this about 9 a.m. Central Time, are any Grizzlies players going to sit out Tuesday night's game against the Warriors? Can Ja Morant play the second night of a back-to-back, the third game in 4 nights? I will say this matchup against the Warriors, much like the Lakers game, to me, this is a playoff game. It's absolutely a playoff game. It's a season-defining game. You're fighting to not be in the play-in. That's what the whole year is for. This is a do-or-die situation. I mean, if you lose this game, technically you don't die. You have 6 games left. But you're fighting an uphill battle. The 4th seed is totally gone. The Lakers beat the Rockets. They have the tiebreaker over you, so they're essentially 3 games up on you. You have 7 games left. So you're fighting for the 5 or the 6 seed. This Warriors game, it is a playoff level, play everyone. I think it's time to try play the main guys the heavier minutes. Still against the Celtics, Jaren played 33 minutes. Bane played 31 minutes. Ja played almost 35 minutes. I don't know if you can keep having an 11-man rotation. I mean, they didn't depend on a lot of the bench guys a lot, but a lot of that was because the bench guys didn't give you a bunch. I mean, Luke Kennard notably failed to make a field goal for the second straight game. 2 games under Iisalo, he's played 40 minutes, taken 1 shot, scored 1 point, got a free throw off of a defensive 3 seconds call. I mean, at least when Luke's out there, he's moving around. He does provide spacing. The defense is attracted to him. He bends and affects the defense, but Luke's not scoring. Scottie Pippen finally had his double-digit scoring streak snapped. He only made 2 out of 8 field goal attempts, was 0 for 4 from 3, had 5 points and 3 assists in 17 minutes. I mean, Santi had a huge game. Santi led the team in minutes. Santi played the second most minutes he's played in any game this season. Santi had 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's in 35 minutes and 30 seconds of playing time. So Santi was scoring. But the rest of your bench, I mean, Bagley played almost 13 minutes, scored 2 points, had 1 putback. Pippen, like I said, 5 points. Luke Kennard, 1 point. Vince Williams played 13 minutes. He scored 2 points. Also, Vince made, I felt like, a pretty basic error at the end of the third quarter. The Grizzlies were down by 5. They had a foul to give. The Celtics had the ball. It was a defensive possession. Jason Tatum is posting Vince up, isolating him about 18, 20 feet from the basket with 5 seconds left. They have a foul to give. I'm yelling at my TV, foul. Make them throw the ball in with 4 seconds left. But Jason Tatum spins with 4 or 3 seconds left, ends up hitting Al Horford for a wide open layup. I mean, this feels like a simple thing. You have a foul to give on the final possession, and a guy has his back to the basket with a few seconds left, you foul him. So they have to inbound the ball. You reset your defense. Also, they were leaving Al Horford wide open. Al Horford is a shooter. I mean, Zach Edey's going to have difficulty getting out to the three-point line, but Marvin Bagley, when he came in, Al Horford's first shot was it a baseline inbounds play where Al Horford is standing wide open in the corner. Like, it wasn't a tough pass. It was on the strong side where the ball was being inbounded. They just threw it to Al Horford in the corner, stand still, three-pointer. These are simple things. They haven't really done the simple things yet. They're not doing also the complex things, which is beat, difficult teams. Jay Huff checked in again in the third quarter, took one three-pointer. That was his only shot of the game. He did not make it. I mean, the Celtics, they're rounding into form. It's not a big deal that you lose to the Celtics. The Celtics are incredible. I don't think we intended or expected to beat a Celtics team or to be better than a Celtics team this year. The Celtics just wrapped up a 6-0 road trip. The Celtics just set a franchise record for road wins in a season. This was their 32nd road win. I think you could even say the Grizzlies played relatively well. Although I did feel like I said, very notable errors at times on defense, some miscommunications. And then on offense, they settled for three-pointers far too frequently. By the way, Jalen Wells in the start, he had 10 points. One of 5 Grizzlies players in double digits. And I guess that wraps up that game. As far as other Grizzlies news, we can end the episode just with the medical update the team released about Brandon Clark and his knee sprain, which has knocked him out for the season. They announced he would not undergo surgery and is expected to be back for the start of next season. I think most Grizzlies fans probably have PTSD thinking of Steven Adams and him not needing to have surgery and the expectation that he would come back after his knee injury, and he did not. Again, I'm not a doctor. I know nothing about knees. So not having surgery should mean, or the hope is that this means he would be out a shorter amount of time. And if he comes back 100% healthy, of course, that is absolutely good news. But can you depend on Brandon Clark as you build your team next year? I don't know how you can. But I don't want to get down a roster building rabbit hole at this point. Anyways, thanks everybody for listening to these episodes. If you want a bonus episode that I release with Dave DeFore, that's available at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. We talked a little bit about Taylor Jenkins getting fired. We also talked about some other NBA-wide stories that we were interested in. That's available to my Patreon supporters, patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, hope to see some of you guys tonight at Noble's Beer Hall in Nashville. Hope everybody else has a great Tuesday. I'll talk to you soon. Go Grizz.